is that time of year again. The time of new beginnings, new resolutions, new gym memberships maybe. There is something special about that 11:59 on December 31st every year that you can't quite describe, but you can feel it in the air. That's why we here at Rotten Tomatoes wanted to celebrate the coming of the new year with you by taking a look at New Year's Eve as celebrated in the movies.
I'm sorry, Harry. I know it's New Year's Eve. I know you're feeling lonely, but you just can't show up here, tell me you love me, and expect that to make everything all right. It doesn't work this way.
Well, how does it work?
I don't know, but not this way.
For this list, movies needed to take place during New Year's and offer one or more iconic scenes around the holiday. So as you get ready to count down the ball drop, we'll be counting down our list of the best New Year's movies, all ranked by Tomato Meter. Number 10, About Time. When Tim Lake is 21, his father tells him a secret. The men in their family can travel through time. Although he can't change history, Tim resolves to improve his life by getting a girlfriend. He meets Mary, falls in love, and finally wins her heart via time travel and a little cunning. However, as his unusual life progresses, Tim finds that his special ability can't shield him and those that he loves from the problems of ordinary life. Starring Domhnall Gleeson, Rachel McAdams, Bill Nye, and directed by Richard Curtis. Critics say, beautifully filmed and unabashedly sincere, About Time finds director Richard Curtis at his most sentimental.
So you're saying that you and Grandad and his brothers could all travel back in time?
Absolutely.
And you still do?
Absolutely. Although it's not as dramatic as it sounds. It's only in my own life. I can only go to places where I actually was and can remember. I can't kill Hitler or shag Helen of Troy, unfortunately.
Okay, stop. If it's true, which it isn't.
Although it is.
Although it isn't, obviously. But if it was, which it's not.
Which it is.
Which it isn't. But if it was, how would I actually...
The how is the easy bit, in fact. You go into a dark place. Big cupboards are very useful, generally. Toilets at a pinch. Then you clench your fists like this. Think of the moment you're going to, and you'll find yourself there. After a bit of a stumble and a rumble and a tumble.
Wow.
Is as good a reaction as any. I think I plumped for but it was the 70s.
No, this is so obviously a joke.
It's not a joke. Why would I lie to someone I'm fairly fond of?
Okay. But when I come back downstairs after standing in a cupboard with my fist clenched, you're going to be in so much trouble.
Well, let's see, shall we?
Number 9, Bridget Jones' Diary. At the start of the new year, 32-year-old Bridget decides that it's time to take control of her life and starts keeping a diary. Now, the most provocative, erotic, and hysterical book on her bedside table is the one she's writing. With a taste for adventure and an opinion on every subject, from exercise to men to food to sex and everything in between, she's turning the page on a whole new life. Starring Renee Zellweger, Colin Firth, Hugh Grant, and directed by Sharon Maguire. Critics say, though there was controversy over the choice of casting, Zellweger's Bridget Jones is a sympathetic, likable, funny character, giving this romantic comedy a lot of charm.
Can we just, pop out there for a moment?
Quite delightful, isn't it, my dear?
I just have something that I want to say. You once said that you like me just as I am, and I just wanted to say likewise. I mean, you wear stupid things your mum buys you. Tonight's another classic. You're haughty and you always say the wrong thing in every situation. And I seriously believe that you should rethink the length of your sideburns. You're a nice man, and I like you. If you wanted to pop by sometime, that might be nice. More than nice.
Right. Crikey.
Number 8, Sleepless in Seattle. After the death of his wife, Sam Baldwin moves to Seattle with his son, Jonah. When Jonah calls in to a talk radio program to find a new wife for his father, Sam grudgingly gets on the line to discuss his feelings. Annie Reed, a reporter in Baltimore, hears Sam speak and falls for him, even though she's engaged. Unsure where it will lead, she writes Sam a letter asking him to meet her at the Empire State Building on Valentine's Day. Starring Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, Bill Pullman, and directed by Nora Ephron. Critics say Sleepless in Seattle is a cute classic with a very light touch and real chemistry between the two leads, even when spending an entire movie apart.
And just a few questions. Are you sleeping at night?
He doesn't sleep at all.
How do you know that?
I live here, Dad.
Look, it's Christmas. Maggie, my wife, she really did it. I mean, she loved. She made everything beautiful. And it's just tough this time of year. I mean, any kid needs a mother.
Could it be that you need someone just as much as Jonah does?
Yes.
Don't answer that. Let's get into that right after these messages. Sam, Jonah, don't go away. If you've just tuned in, we're talking to Sleepless in Seattle, and we'll be right back after this break with your listener response.
What is she talking about?
This is when other people get to call in and dump on what you said.
Oh.
Get
Oh.
Stainomator, and I
Well,
promise
this is really
your
fun.
old carpet will
And
look
helpful.
grand.
Number 7, Trading Places. Upper crust executive Louis Winthorpe III and down-and-out hustler Billy Ray Valentine are the subjects of a bet by successful brokers Mortimer and Randolph Duke. Now, an employee of the Dukes, Winthorpe is framed by the brothers for a crime that he didn't commit, with the siblings then installing the street-smart Valentine in his position. When Winthorpe and Valentine uncover the scheme, they set out to turn the tables on the Dukes. Starring Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, Ralph Bellamy, and directed by John Landis. Critics say featuring deft interplay between Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, Trading Places is an immensely appealing social satire.
Merry New Year!
Happy New Year. In this country, we say Happy New Year.
Ha 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 ha! Thank you for correcting my English, which stinks. I am Nanja Ibuko, exchange student from Cameroon. Ha 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 ha! Beef jerky time. You want some beef jerky?
Oh, please.
There's plenty, you know.
Number 6, Diner. Billy returns home to Baltimore to serve as the best man at his upcoming wedding of his childhood buddy, Eddie. In the meantime, he and Eddie get together with their friends at the local diner where they trade stories about their lives. All they really want to do is go back to being the carefree boys that they once were, but they know it cannot be. Their funny and at times revealing exchanges help each other face the mounting responsibility of adulthood. Starring Steven Guttenberg, Mickey Rourke, Kevin Bacon, and directed by Barry Levinson. Critics say Diner transports audiences back to the 1950s with a refreshing lack of sentimentality, evoking the thrill of everyday life with its ensemble's potent chemistry and an authentic sense of spontaneity.
Hello, Tess. I don't want to bother you. I wanted to say a few words. I didn't prepare anything or anything. The guys told me to come up and say a few words. I was thinking that, you know, now that Eddie's getting married and he won't really be hanging out with the guys anymore, and I just wanted to say that we were never really that crazy about you. I'll be quite honest, and I didn't want to tell you sooner because you're a sensitive person, and I just want to thank everybody who's responsible for your being here. Elise, I don't know if everybody knows what Elise had to go through to get married. She was 2 points away from spending the rest of her life by herself. It was very, sad. And now she knows more about football than most girls in America. It's important, it really is.
Number 5, When Harry Met Sally. In 1977, college graduates Harry Burns and Sally Albright share a contentious car ride from Chicago to New York, during which they argue about whether men and women can ever truly be strictly platonic friends. 10 years later, Harry and Sally meet again at a bookstore, and in the company of their respective best friends, Jess and Marie, attempt to stay friends without sex becoming an issue between them. Starring Billy Crystal, Meg Ryan, Carrie Fisher, and directed by Rob Reiner. Critics say Rob Reiner's touching, funny film set a new standard for romantic comedies, and he was ably abetted by the sharp interplay between Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan.
10. Want to get some air?
Yeah.
Number 4, About a Boy. A comedy drama starring Hugh Grant as Will, a rich, child-free, and irresponsible Londoner in his 30s who, in search of available women, invents an imaginary son and starts attending single-parent meetings. As a result of one of his liaisons, he meets Marcus, an odd 12-year-old boy with problems at school. Gradually, Will and Marcus become friends, and as Will teaches Marcus how to be a cool kid, Marcus helps Will to finally grow up. Starring Hugh Grant, Rachel Weisz, Toni Collette, and directed by Chris and Paul Weitz. Critics say About a Boy benefits tremendously from Hugh Grant's layered performance, as well as a funny moving story that tugs at the heartstrings without tilting into treacle.
The interesting thing about me is I don't actually do anything.
You don't do anything?
Actually, no.
Nothing?
Nope.
Wow. That's,
Now, Rachel, darling.
Yeah.
East Coast or West Coast rap?
Oh, God, I have absolutely...
There. She was gone. There was no more to say.
All rap music sounds exactly the same to me.
Or was
It
there?
does.
I tell you what, I know a 12-year-old who'd kill you for saying that.
Really?
Yeah.
So do I, come to that.
Are you?
Yeah. What's yours called?
Mine? Everybody... He's called Marcus.
Mine's Ali. Alistair.
And there it was. It wasn't a lie. It was 100% her assumption. Well, 50% at the very least.
Number 3, The Apartment. Insurance worker CeCe Baxter lends his Upper West Side apartment to company bosses to use for extramarital affairs. When his manager, Mr. Sheldrake, begins using Baxter's apartment in exchange for promoting him, Baxter's disappointed to learn that Sheldrake's mistress is Fran Kubelik, the elevator girl at work whom Baxter is interested in himself. Soon Baxter must decide between the girl he loves and the advancement of his career. Starring Jack Lemmon, Shirley MacLaine, Fred MacMurray, and directed by Billy Wilder. Critics say director Billy Wilder's customary cynicism is leavened here by tender humor, romance, and genuine pathos.
All right, sorry I took so long on the phone, but we're all set.
All set for what?
I rented a car. To be here at 1 o'clock, we're driving down to Atlantic City.
Atlantic City?
Oh, I know it's a drag, but you can't find a hotel room in town, not on New Year's Eve.
Ring out the old year, ring in the new, ring-a-ding-ding.
I didn't plan it this way, Fran. Actually, it's all Baxter's fault.
Baxter?
Hey, he wouldn't give me the key to the apartment.
He wouldn't?
No, he just walked out on me. Quit. Threw that big fat job right in my face.
The nerve.
Yeah, little punk. After all I did for him. Said I couldn't bring anybody to the apartment, especially not Miss Kubelik. What's he got against you anyway?
I don't know. I guess that's the way it crumbles, cookie-wise.
Number 2, Carol. Therese Belivet spots the beautiful, elegant Carol perusing the doll displays in a 1950s Manhattan department store. The two women develop a fast bond that becomes a love with complicated consequences. Starring Cate Blanchett, Rooney Mara, Sarah Paulson, and directed by Todd Haynes. Critics say, shaped by Todd Haynes' deft direction and powered by a strong cast, led by Cate Blanchett and Rooney Mara, Carol lives up to its groundbreaking source material.
That's very nice.
Miss, where's the ladies' room, honey?
If you go back to the elevator and make a right, you can't miss it.
Thank you.
And before we reveal number 1, here are some honorable mentions. The Holiday. Two women, one from America and one from Britain, swap homes at Christmas time after bad breakups with their boyfriends. Each woman finds romance with a local man, but realizes that the imminent return home may end the relationship. Starring Cameron Diaz, Kate Winslet, Jude Law, and directed by Nancy Meyers. Critics say, while it's certainly sweet and even somewhat touching, The Holiday is so thoroughly predictable that audiences may end up opting for an early checkout time.
Graham!
You know, I was just thinking, why would I ever leave before New Year's Eve? That makes no sense at all. I mean, you didn't exactly ask me out, but you did say you loved me. So I'm thinking I've got a date, if you'll have me.
I have the girls' New Year's Eve.
Sounds perfect.
Forrest Gump. Slow-witted Forrest Gump has never thought of himself as disadvantaged, and thanks to his supportive mother, he leads anything but a restricted life. Whether dominating on the gridiron as a college football star, fighting in Vietnam, or captaining a shrimp boat, Forrest inspires people with his childlike optimism. But one person Forrest cares about most may be the most difficult to save. His childhood love, the sweet but troubled Jenny. Starring Tom Hanks, Robin Wright, Gary Sinise, and directed by Robert Zemeckis. Critics say Forrest Gump may be an overly sentimental film with a somewhat problematic message, but its sweetness and charm are usually enough to approximate true depth and grace.
What the hell is in Bayou Labatry? Shrimping boats. Shrimping boats? Who gives a shit about shrimping boats? I gotta buy me one of them shrimp boats as soon as I have some money. I made me a promise to Bubba in Vietnam that as soon as the war was over, we'd go in partners. He'd be the captain of the shrimping boat and I'd be his first mate. But now that he's dead, that means I gotta be the captain. Our shrimp boat captain. Yes, sir. A promise is a promise, Lieutenant Dan. Now hear this! Private Gump here is gonna be a shrimp boat captain. Well, I'll tell you what, Gilligan, the day that you are a shrimp boat captain, I will come and be your first mate. If you're ever a shrimp boat captain, that's the day I'm an astronaut.
What are you complaining about?
And finally, number 1, An American in Paris. Jerry Mulligan is an American ex-GI who stays in post-war Paris to become a painter and falls for the gamine charms of Lise Bouvier. However, his paintings come to the attention of Milo Roberts, a rich American heiress who is interested in more than just art. Starring Gene Kelly, Leslie Caron, Oscar Levant, and directed by Vincente Minnelli. Critics say the plot may be problematic, but such concerns are rendered superfluous by Gene Kelly and Leslie Caron's star power, the Gershwins' classic songs, and Vincente Minnelli's colorful, sympathetic direction.
Everybody's always this wild.
I don't know, this is my first.
Look at that costume.
Jerry Mulligan, a buddy of mine, made me come. Yeah, here.
Thanks.
To Jerry.
To Jerry.
Hey, his name survived his folly.
His folly? What's he doing?
He's about to give a show. He's a painter.
So, what's wrong with that?
You get it in the neck.
So, then why does he do it?
He's got a sponsor who's got more nerve than she has cash. Well, Charmaine, this is farewell. Let's not say au revoir, just goodbye forever.
By the way, I think you might like to know I'm Jerry's sponsor.
I know you are.
Well, my friends, that about does it for us. Be sure to stay tuned to the Rotten Tomatoes channel for more of the entertainment content you love. Until next year, I am your host, Naz Perez, and we'll see you back here for more Top 10s on the Rotten Tomatoes Countdown. And I hope that you have a very happy new year.